Hello, everyone.
Hey, Pig.
Oh my God! Is that Hayden Christensen?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Oh, are you okay? What are you doing? What is that? Okay, are you like sad, happy? Are you trying to be sexual with me? I don't know what your emotion is right now. No, stop that. Stop it right now, Hayden. What is this? Today we're gonna review Jumper. Wish you would step back. No, stop. Copyright. Jumper is one of those movies with a really cool concept that was just delivered terribly, and potentially one of the worst performances I've ever seen from Hayden Christensen. And if you aren't sure who that is, he is the actor who played Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars. And the reason I'm saying that is because when I watched Jumper, I was not really aware that they were the same actor. I don't know why. I guess I just didn't put two and two together. And still to this day, in Star Wars, in Jumper, and whatever movie he's in, I do not understand his acting. I don't really know if you would call it acting. It's just like every time I see him act, it's like you can't tell if he's trying to be sensual, trying to be cocky, trying to be shy. It's just one weird emotion that's just a combination of everything. I remember vividly seeing this movie when I was like 13, 14, and I remember watching it, and I was like, I have to tell someone about this. I have to tell someone about how awful this goddamn movie is. And look at me now. I have a couple people who might watch this video. I don't know. Maybe they won't. Maybe no one will ever see this. Now I have a channel with a couple viewers, so you have to watch it, and you can't complain about it. Not to mention the story in the movie is just terribly thrown together. It's honestly just disappointing because when I saw the trailer for this, it seemed so cool. You know, it seemed like such a really interesting concept. Oh yeah, also Samuel Jackson's in this movie, and he's just playing Samuel Jackson, you know, I mean, let's be real. Like, when Samuel Jackson's in a movie, he kind of just plays himself.
Does Samuel L. Jackson like anime?
Yes, I do. Hentai too.
So the basic concept of the movie is there are people in the world who could jump through time and space. Basically, if they have seen the location before, that means that they could jump to it whenever they want. Think of it kind of like an MMO. You walk to a certain location in order to activate fast travel, and then after that, you could fast travel to wherever you want. It's kind of like that, but for literally everywhere they look. Again, cool concept. Terribly done. So the entire beginning of the movie is just David Rice, who's played by Hayden Christensen, basically bragging.
Yeah, I went to the NBA Finals courtside, of course. And then I went to Italy to eat a fancy dinner. And then just for fun, I went on top of Mount Everest. And now I'm sitting on top of a sphinx in Egypt.
And all of that was before lunch. I'm pretty fucking epic. So literally out the gate, I already hate this character, and I'm pretty sure most people do. He's egotistical, you could tell he's a little bit cocky, and even as we move on, you could see his cockiness kind of come through. His cock just shines through. We get a little bit of backstory about how he came to be. So we go back to his high school, and then he's like, you know, I wasn't always this badass, you know, I used to be a chump like you guys. Yeah, you know, I used to be a chump. So we see young David Rice in school, and he's kind of like the weird kid, like the nerd. He gets bullied, but he's like, he goes up to this girl, and he's like, hey, you're kind of cute. Here, have a snow globe. And this guy comes out, he's like, yo, cringe, grabs the snow globe, launches it into icy waters, and then he ends up walking out there, falls through the water, thinks he's going to die.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
And then all of a sudden, he just appears in the middle of a library where like water flies everywhere and people are like, oh, what happened? And here's a common thing that happens in this movie. So he has these superpowers basically where he could jump wherever he wants. No one ever acknowledges it. He is the most obnoxious jumper. Every time he goes somewhere, he makes it the loudest, the biggest exploding jump ever. And then no one even talks about it ever in this movie. And also the jumps are extremely inconsistent. Sometimes the jumps are just super quiet. You can't even tell that he jumps. And then other times it's like, it never makes any sense. You'll see what I'm talking about throughout the movie. So then we get a little bit of his family life. His mom left him when he was 5, and his dad's like an alcoholic who kind of just is an asshole. So his dad just randomly starts yelling at him for no reason, and then he teleports into the library again, and once again, no one talks about it. Cameras don't pick it up in the library. Like, literally no one speaks of it. So after David Rice discovered these new powers, he starts to just go off on his own. You know, a 15-year-old just going off on his own and just renting a hotel room. No one questions it, but whatever. Storyline, let's go. And And the first thing that happens is he says, I mean, come on, I was 15. What would you have done? And then he robs a maximum security bank. Like, I don't know, probably the first thing I wouldn't do personally is rob a maximum security bank. I mean, personally, the first thing I would do is just go all over the world. But I mean, if you're really wanting to rob stuff, start small, dude. First thing you do when you find out you have these powers, maximum security bank, stealing millions of dollars, billions of cameras. Let's do it. But anyway, he does that, basically yoinks millions and millions of dollars, gets away with it. How? Oh yeah, something else that's very stupid. Everyone in his hometown assumes that he died when he fell into the water, into the frozen water. Everyone just assumed he died. So I guess him just appearing in a library where there was like 10 people, no one realized that was him? No one? Or his dad who saw him come home, he didn't tell anyone that he wasn't dead and he's actually alive? Like, how do people think he's dead? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, this is where Samuel Jackson comes in. Basically, he is what is called a paladin. I know. Cool. How can this go wrong? He's called a paladin, dude. How can this be bad? Basically, white-haired Samuel Jackson is a paladin, and all they do is just hunt jumpers. That's like their whole prerogative, is killing jumpers. Because they think only God should have the power to be everywhere at once. That was actually a quote from the movie. So then we skip forward, and David Rice is just a zillionaire, just stealing billions of dollars and getting away with it. And he is just the most unlikable character ever. Throughout the movie, he just narrates himself and just constantly brags about how he could be everywhere and he has the whole world and all this cool shit. And it's also confusing because David Rice, like the character, I cannot tell what he is. He says cocky things like where he has an ego, but he's also acts like he's really shy and reserved. Like, it's the Hayden Christensen effect. You don't know what he feels. It's so weird. Not only that, but we even start to see that he's just a one-night stand Andy, where he goes to random bars across the world, finds a girl, sleeps with them, and then jumps into a different country. Solid guy. Also, not to mention, he just jumps everywhere. Like, everywhere. He doesn't hide it in the slightest. He just jumps. Like, in the middle of a bar with hundreds of people, he just poofs right next to someone. And no one sees that. No one questions it. It's so stupid. Like, I know they're trying to portray him as like overconfident and cocky, and that bites him in the ass in the future, but it's just stupid. Like, that no one reacts to it or even notices it. And the only person that notices it is another jumper, who I just want to mention. The other jumper in this movie is the only good character and the only good actor. But we'll get to that in a second. So we get a little montage of him jumping everywhere, and then he ends up jumping back to his house. And lo and behold, there he is, Samuel Jackson in the flesh. And he says they've been tracking him down for years and they finally got him. And then they get into a little tussle, and then he figures out that, oh no, he can't jump because paladins have electric rods that they just like poke him with, and then they can't jump.
Maybe you got rid of that old ass haircut you got.
So the first thing he does after getting attacked by a paladin is he just goes back to his hometown and tries to find the girl that he liked in high school. Why? Well, what's the reason? And it just gets even more ridiculous. Like, I don't know why movies do this. I hate when movies do this where, oh, they knew someone like way back when, like in grade school or like early high school, and then they meet up 20 years later and then they fall in love. Like, I hate that whole trope. It's stupid. It's honestly more creepy than anything. So he goes to the bar, and the two people that he ends up finding is the bully from high school, the dude that like launched his snow globe into the water, and he finds Millie, the girl that he used to like in high school, who he gave the snow globe to. He gets in a little tussle with the bully, and then he ends up, again, dumbest decision ever, he gets in a fight with him and then jumps him into the maximum security bank vault. What? You could have just jumped him into the lake, jumped him just across town, jumped him to a different country, bro. Why are you jumping him where he will get arrested and tell the cops everything that he saw after you just got attacked by a paladin? Oh, it just gets dumber. But he ends up getting a drink with Millie, and then literally he's just like, yo, I know I haven't seen you in like 10 years, and I know I kind of just like acted like I died and then disappeared forever. Let's go to Rome together. And of course, she she agrees because I don't know why, but she agrees. Yes, random guy I haven't seen since high school. Let's go to Rome. And something that David Rice, Hayden Christensen does throughout the movie that is really creepy, because I know in context it's supposed to be like endearing and like a showing of love when like a dude like stares at a girl like longingly, but he does it so creepily. Every time he stares at her, it doesn't look like he's loves her. It looks like he's about to kill her every single time. Again, that Hayden Christensen vibe, it's just always off. So their first day to Rome, not seeing each other in 10 plus years, they bang, obviously, because that's what the movie wants. And I just want to mention, the entire time, he doesn't even think about the paladin who just tried to kill him. He doesn't even cross his mind. He just almost died, and he's not even thinking about it. But anyway, they go to the Rome Colosseum, and obviously they can't get in, so he uses his cool jumper powers to sneak his way in there. So guys, put yourself in Millie's shoes. Haven't seen this guy in 10 plus years. He literally fake died, and he made everyone believe that he died. And now yoinks you, takes you to Rome, and is just breaking into the Colosseum and opening up all these locked doors. Seems a little bit less romantic now, doesn't it? Seems more like you're gonna die. Then this is where we meet Griffin, the Irish dude who is just honestly the only character that is redeeming in this movie. He is a jumper who is a paladin hunter, because paladins are trying to kill jumpers. He's the one who actually is killing the paladins. So he's a jumper with like a buttload of experience, with a lot of control with his powers. And while David Rice is here and Griffin's here, paladins come out of nowhere. They get in a tussle. Griffin ends up killing them. And all of this happens when Millie is literally right next to all of them, and she doesn't realize that it's happening. She doesn't see it or hear it. It just kind of just glazes over it like nothing happened. And I just want to mention, like, the paladin jumper fights sometimes are pretty cool, because I mean, let's be real, like having a dude being able to jump wherever the hell he wants, like that can lead to very interesting fights. Could have been better, but I mean, the fights sometimes can be pretty cool.
David? What's going on?
So Griffin kills a paladin. One of the workers there sees the dead body, screams, and then they arrest David Rice, you know, under suspicion that he's the one who killed him. But while he is handcuffed to a chair, about to get arrested for a murder, his mom just casually walks into the building. His mom, who left him when he was 5, gave him a key, says, yo, they're gonna be back in 20 seconds. You need to be out of here. And then she just walks away. So then he jumps the officer into Egypt. Could have just jumped him somewhere a little bit more safe, but whatever. And then he just kind of walks out of the police station, you know, because the dude who arrested him isn't there anymore. Then he brings Millie to the airport, and then Millie's like, yo, tell me what's going on. There's weird stuff going on. And then he just like shows her a buttload of cash in his bag. And even after all of this, after all of the money that is in his bag, after getting arrested for potential murder, she's like, I still want to be with this guy. I kind of like this guy. This is a very smart girl. Anyway, Millie goes on the plane and then goes back to where she was. And then we cut to Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson actually goes to David Rice's father's house. And David Rice's father is like starting to like realize that something's up, because Samuel Jackson says he's with the IRS, but David Rice's father is like, okay, yeah, something's going on. You're going to hurt my son. So he lies to him and says he doesn't know where he is or doesn't know anything about him. And then he ends up dying. So he was a character for like a couple seconds. And it's funny because even though he was a character for a couple seconds, he is way more likable, way more enjoyable than David Rice. Like so much more. I would rather a movie about the father's perspective than this crap. So we find out that David Rice has the power to actually jump through other jumpers' portals, because I guess when they jump, they leave like a tear in the fabric of time, and he could jump through them. So he follows Griffin, and then Griffin explains to him that paladins are like religious whack jobs from medieval times. They're like witch hunters basically, and they've been hunting jumpers for years. And this part is just another part that just shows Hayden Christensen's terrible acting. Griffin mentions that they might go after his family, so the first thing he does is go to his father's house and finds that his father's dead. And so he acts sad, very poorly, screams someone help, and then basically explodes into a hospital, destroys windows, destroys the floors, destroys the walls, and no one even cares. Yes, we realize that they should be focusing on the dead guy on the ground, but no one's questioning the fact that he just blew a hole in the hospital. So then David goes to talk to the bully who's in jail, and then obviously the bully's like, yo, I told him everything, which obviously you literally dropped him in the middle of the bank where you stole all the money. So then David Rice, again being the most unlikable character in the movie, goes to Griffin's hideout. Griffin, the dude who's been hunting paladins for years and had been protecting jumpers for years with loads and loads of years of research, he kind of just starts yoinking stuff and is really selfish and is like, no, I'm going to protect my life and my girl and my family. I don't care about the stuff that you're working on. And he kind of just messes with all of his shit, gives away Griffin's position, literally uproots his entire work just for his own selfish reasons. So then we get another ridiculous part. We're in Tokyo and Griffin steals a vehicle out of a building and jumps the vehicle through the window into the street. And again, no one even bats an eye. Like, he literally just openly out in the open, everyone sees him steal a vehicle and no one cares. So this whole part was kind of just, number one, just to have a promotion and a sponsor for a car. Number two, just to show off cool sports car and cool jumping car. And also, it was a very small plot point and foreshadowing because he talks about how he could jump anything that moves. And then he says, oh, this one crazy guy tried to jump an entire house. He won't be doing that again. I wonder if David Rice is going to try to jump an entire house in the future and not die because he implied that someone died and tried to do it. I wonder if that's going to happen. And then, once again, David Rice becoming the most unlikable human in existence. He jumps to Millie's house and freaks her out, says, hey, I'm a bank robber, starts jumping around the house, and then yoinks her without her consent and just yoinks her into Griffin's hideout. I know it was supposed to like protect her and make sure she's safe, but man, he is just an awful person. So Samuel Jackson created an invention that they could open up the tears in reality. Basically, you know, kind of like what David Rice can do and jump into their little holes. That came out weird. David Rice gets caught and he's about to get stabbed to death, but Griffin with a goddamn flamethrower, hell yes, I love Griffin, he's cool. He has like a big vendetta against Samuel Jackson's character because I think Samuel Jackson's character killed Griffin's mom. So then we have a good amount of action scenes here, popping through portals, like explosions, fighting, and Griffin once again is the only cool fighting person in this. Honestly, let's be real, David Rice is just kind of there. He doesn't really do anything. So then Griffin starts telling David that Samuel Jackson's character actually killed his parents, and then he doesn't care, just like David would do. He doesn't care and kind of steals his safe of all of his information about the paladins, and then they get into a little bit of a jumper fight, and then they end up in a war. I never understood this part. They literally just end up in an actual war zone. There's tanks driving around, there's people in army uniforms like shooting and killing each other. What? Like, did they just add that in there just so they could have guns and tanks? Like, what's the point? But anyway, David ends up winning because he throws Griffin into a power line and then he gets shocked so he can't jump anywhere. So then this part, again, doesn't make any sense. David goes in there while Millie's trapped because Samuel Jackson stole her. So she's like locked in a room with like a bunch of electric fences all around. So David gets in there and then he gets trapped by all the electric fences. And remember where they said you cannot jump if you are electrified or getting electrocution through your body? He kind of just like says, screw that rule that we made in the movie, I'm gonna do it anyway. He ends up jumping half the building into the water. Remember at the beginning of the movie where he drowned? He leaves Samuel's character there and then he jumps the entire building into the library. Like, holy shit, what is wrong with you, dude? Like, imagine how much money they had to fork out to fix the library the first 2 times. Now you're gonna bring an entire half of a building into the library and destroy it completely? What if people were there? You would have killed them. Remember, everyone, jumpers can literally jump anywhere in the entire world, but he just decides to do the library. I guess to make a callback from the beginning of the movie, who knows? So how the movie ends is very stupid. So they don't like kill Samuel's character or anything. They just drop him off in like the Grand Canyon, and then he's like, maybe I am one of the good ones because I could have killed you, but I didn't. And then he jumps away, and then he hangs out with his girl because I guess Millie is just likes him now. After literally everything that she went through, for some weird reason, she's going to stay with him because that's what the movie wants to do. And then he goes to talk to his real mom, the mom that left him when he was 5. And oh my God, this is so stupid. So he goes to talk to his real mom, and his real mom's like, yeah, I'm a paladin. I had to leave you when you were 5 years old because if I didn't leave you, I would have had to kill you. And then at the end, she says, yeah, I'll just give you a head start. Maybe just don't be a paladin. So she believes in this religious idea so much, she's okay with killing her own son. She just said that she would have had to kill him at 5, but now she's okay with hunting him down when he's like this age. So that basically the movie leaves off with a cliffhanger. They're still going to be chasing him down. Even his own mother is going to go try to kill him. What mother does that? Just leave the religion. I mean, they're probably strict about it, but there's probably a way out, you know? What the hell? But anyway, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Jumper, one of the worst movies ever. And the only reason I'm talking about this is this has been on my mind since I watched it back in like 2008. Literally not even joking. This is one of those movies that oh, that's so bad. Also, guys, before you leave, if you so like these clothes that I am wearing, this sweatshirt, go to shorturl.at to get your stuff now. And also, if you want to become a jumper or have the reaction speed of a jumper, I would recommend going to gfuel.com and using code PIG to get 30% off your G Fuel order. It tastes good. Also follow me on Instagram. There, that's my plug. Instagram. You know, I deleted my Twitter because Twitter's cringe. You should delete it too. Instagram is where it's at now. Instagram kind of sucks too, doesn't it? Just follow me there. Bye.
It's kinda funny how knowing something